good morning to all of you, dear friends, Mr. Deepak Jain, Mr. Bharat Shah, and all the dignitaries present here. We are here to talk about how to promote excellence in manufacturing. And as Deepak said, that the proportion of manufacturing has, we need to take it up. Now, when we consider that question, it is important to see that where is the world headed? What do the consumers want? What does the industry want? Industry wants what the consumers want. And one of the visions given by our Honorable Prime Minister is to make India a hub of excellence. And it is only excellence which can drive us to the global stage. I am in the deal with the automobile division, automobile sector, and one of the objectives of launching the PLI schemes in the automobile is to make India a global automotive hub, so that Indian made automobiles, and if you look at last year, India produced more than about 2.2 crore vehicles. To manufacture so many vehicles, and one, the scale of it, and two, the speed at which the manufacturing is growing. If you talk about electric vehicles, according to one estimate of Niti Aayog, in the next, say, 8 years till 2030, electric vehicles are expected to grow at a CAGR of 49%. Now, that is a breathtaking pace. And you cannot make so many vehicles unless you have manufacturing systems which are flexible, which are lean, which are very efficient manufacturing systems. But manufacturing alone is not the solution. It has to be indigenous manufacturing. It has to, because when you want to make the supply chain good, that supply chain must exist in India. And the government's effort should be, and that is where the government effort is directed, to facilitate such a change. So ultimately, industry has to make itself competitive. But the government's aim must be to help the industry where such indigenization of technology and such advanced automotive technologies or advanced technologies, they can be brought into the manufacturing system. And that is why if you look at the FAME scheme, the faster adoption and manufacturing of electric vehicles, it mandates that the components must be manufactured in India. And at the same time, it has got a flexibility that you can import the components, that is fine. But they must be assembled, they must be put together in the country. And that will have an indirect effect on the lower supply chain also. And if you look at the production linked incentive scheme of the automobile and auto components, there also you'll see that, of course, this is the first year where the incentives will be rolling out in the current financial year. There also there is a concept of domestic value addition. There must be a 50% domestic value addition to get your incentives. The 13 to 18% is what incentives the government is giving. It is a 26,000 crore rupee scheme spread over a period of 5 years. But there also, if we look at certain disabilities which we still have, for instance, we are not making permanent magnets here. We are not making a lot of semiconductors here. And that is why there are exemptions provided here. So this will not count towards the DVA requirement. Then we are not making cells in India, advanced chemistry cells. So there also exemptions have been provided. Therefore, the push is that these components can be imported, but others should be sourced from India. And similarly, we have the production linked incentive scheme for the advanced chemistry cells. As you know that in an electric vehicle, almost 40 to 45% cost is of the battery system. and a major portion of that is cells. So we expect that from the next financial year, production of cells will start in India. About 50 gigawatts was the target of the PLI ACC scheme, and 30 gigawatts has already been given. That has already bidded out by 3 OEMs will be making those cells, and the balance 20 gigawatts shortly, probably we think that probably by next month the remaining 20 gigawatt will also come out. So we'll have a production capacity of 50 gigawatts of advanced chemistry cells in the country. And these cells are chemistry agnostic. They can be used in EVs, they can be used in consumer electronics, they can be used in grid scale power storage, and they can be used in other applications. Of course, the requirement of the battery cells probably going into 29, 2030 would be in the region of more than 200 gigawatts. But what we expect is that a portion of that can be incentivized by the government, and the industry will itself, establish these plants. Because making these things in India, that's a viable option now. And then we looked at the kind of support which other countries are giving, particularly in the field of automobiles and electric vehicles. And we found that in the last, say, 6 or 7 years, most countries have been tapering down their incentives. They have been decreasing their incentives. In most countries now in electric vehicles, they've come down to less than 5% or less than 3%. And that is because, of course, they started early, many of them, and the penetration of electrical vehicles in those countries has crossed 30%, 35%. But in India, we are still at a, beginning stage of electrification of the transport sector. Our two-wheelers last year crossed about 4.5% of new vehicle sales. And in four-wheelers, we were about 0.94%. Only in three-wheelers, we have crossed 50%. And that is also because of the lead-acid e-rickshaws, where there is a thinking that, we must have lithium-based batteries and safety features. And buses, now last year we had only about 1.5%. But with the picking up of the national e-bus program, where it is targeted that 50,000 electric buses will be rolled out in the next 5 years, till 2027-28. A major portion of the new buses are likely to be electric now. Therefore, the pace of manufacturing will definitely pick up. That is number one. But also, I think the good thing about it is that we want to ensure that as much as indigenization is possible, that takes place. And very rightly, Mr. Deepak pointed out, and Dipanshu, that the skill sets which we require, that is definitely a challenge. I'm aware of the work the Automotive Skill Developmental Council is doing with development of qualification packs and partnering of industry with academic institutions. Excellent work is being done, because these are new technologies. And there are newer technologies which are not there, which are likely to come. So if you look at the PLI scheme, there is a component, we have 103 components, which we have classified as advanced automotive technology components. Out of them, number of them are hydrogen fuel cell based, those components which are used in making hydrogen fuel cells for the vehicles. So at present, no one is making the hydrogen vehicles as of now, but there's a lot of work going on, and we expect that in the coming years, this will, you'll see them in the market. And similarly, we have a very vibrant ethanol blending program, where we are targeting 20% blending by 1st April 2025. And there also flex fuel engines are needed, and those are also incentivized under the scheme. So I think it is a very good combination that those areas which are in the, at the edge of technology, those are being incentivized by the government. So that the initial, the friction or initial issues, whatever you may call them, there a certain push is given. And unless we adopt the latest technologies, we cannot hope to compete with the global markets, which is where we want to go ultimately. There is no dearth of qualified technical manpower in the country. The only thing is that we have to orient ourselves in the direction of efficiency, in the directions of competence. And of course, we are all talking about sustainability, and that is the vision of Panchamrit, which the Government of India has given. And in all of, I'm talking more about automotive sector because that's what I'm dealing with, but I think smart manufacturing, you may consider any factor. So all that will blend into this, our larger national picture. I'm thankful to ETAUTO to invite me here and to listen to all of your views and share my thoughts with you. I wish the best for this conference, and I hope that we'll come out with some kind of recommendations, some kind of suggestions, which will be good for all of us. Thank you very much.